We're in the middle of June, it's hotter than heck, and the garden is growing well. Let's go take a look. I thought I'd walk by the garden real quick and let you see everything at once, so you could get a feel of just how the whole thing's laid out. It's kind of a mess right now, and it'll probably stay that way for the duration. Some of the cool season crops like lettuce and peas are finished now because of our heat, but the things that like the heat, like the tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers, will start growing better now. As you can see, we have quite a few things growing in grow bags, as well as quite a few things growing out in the ground. Our temperatures are in the mid to upper 90s now, with a few hundreds mixed in, and the bananas don't seem to mind that at all. My hybrid corn project is going pretty well so far. This is the best one that I've produced so far, and I really like it a lot. It's actually better variegation than I had on any of my pure japonica corn. This time of year we have a lot of false Japanese beetles, and that's what this is. They do a lot of damage to our flowers, such as petunias and roses. Right now I have a whole lot of small corn plants growing, and I'm letting those grow until I can see whether they're going to be variegated or not. If they aren't, then I cut them down. I'm shooting for quality, not quantity, even though right now I have plenty of quantity. In the next row I have a few more variegated ones, and this one even has a little pink and red in it. At some point in the near future, I hope to do a video on the corn and give a lot more detail than I'm giving right now. The pole beans are climbing our 5-foot tomato cages, and some of them are already to the top. Like last year, I added some bamboo to the top of the cages to extend them another 3 feet or so, and they're already starting to climb the bamboo too, and are getting close to the top of that. The poles you see here are a late addition, and I have some beans growing near those too. That's kind of how pole beans got their names, because they can climb up poles or trellises. On this set of poles I have some long beans and some Malabar spinach growing. And on the next set of poles I have some skunk beans and a couple of cucumbers. And so far they're doing pretty well considering how hot it is. When the temperatures get up near 100 degrees, many indeterminate tomatoes will stop setting on very well. But smaller types like this Shimo-furi tomato will keep setting, kind of like cherry tomatoes do. Another smaller type tomato that we're growing is called Audrey's Love, and it's setting on very well too. Right next to it are the carrots. I've thinned those a couple of times, but they need to be thinned again. And speaking of carrots, this is that single carrot that I overwintered, and it's now in full bloom. And I'm guessing it probably has somewhere near 50 flower heads. And there are quite a few insects that are attracted to the flowers. The flower heads start out very small, like this one here. Then they slowly grow a little bit, looking like this. They grow a little bit more, and then they start to open. And as they keep growing, they get larger and prettier. And when they're in full bloom, they look like this one. And in time, this will start to fade, and that's when they'll start producing seeds. We're already getting quite a few peppers. These are the Pippin's Golden Honey, and this is the 3 color phases that they go through. And from my limited taste test, it seems like they get just a little bit sweeter with each color change. This is a look at a couple of the candy cane peppers. The ripe one is to the left and the unripe one is to the right. They get a little bit of striping, but so far I haven't seen much. I shot a taste test video of those, and I'll be posting that tomorrow morning. The Guernica pepper has a couple of larger peppers on it, and it has quite a few blooms and some that are still setting on. Here's a brand new one, just starting to grow. The Buena Mulata has quite a few peppers on it, and the more I pick of those, the more it produces. It's even got a couple that are starting to change color, so I need to harvest those. The Jimmy Nardello has a couple that are already starting to get ripe. If you're wondering whether I'm still fighting the gophers, the answer is yes, and the gophers are still winning. I'm starting to feel just a little bit like Bill Murray and Caddyshack. We have quite a few pepper projects going. These are from the Purple Flash project. I haven't really counted, but we probably have 7 or 8 different types of peppers that popped up out of that project. These little peppers will look a lot different in a month or so. These are F6 Oda Pinos, which are a cross between a jalapeno and an Oda. This is a new F3 that I'm working on. I'm just calling this one Conehead right now. Here's a look at one of our F4 variegated peppers, and right next to them are a whole bunch of the F5s. And those will grow a lot in the next month or two. This is the one that I've been calling Black Cherry, and it's got a whole bunch of weeds growing in with it, and that's because I'm growing it in mostly compost. There's a tomato plant, as well as some crabgrass and some other weeds. I'm getting behind on that. In this grow bag, I have the F4 versions of the Black Pearl Project peppers, both the upright ones that you see here. They're producing quite a few peppers, and the pendant type here, which are a little bit longer, and both are very dark. The pendant version seems to be darker foliage than the upright version. This is the F5 upright version of the Black Pearl Project peppers, and those are a little bit lighter as well in the upright version as opposed to the pendant version. Here's a look at the pendant version, and they're a little bit behind in size. Right next to these are the F2 Oda crosses. Those almost certainly crossed with one of the F4 Black Pearl Project peppers. They have dark foliage, some of them very dark and some of them very green, but it's not unusual to have a lot of variability in the F2 generation. Don't forget that I'll be posting that taste testing video on the candy cane peppers tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.